Jackson Martinez had always considered himself unlucky in love, but he never imagined his dating app would literally take him to another world. It started on a Tuesday night in his cramped Chicago apartment. His phone's dating app had been glitching all week, showing profiles from cities he'd never heard of, displaying distances in units that made no sense. When Emma's profile appeared, he assumed it was another bug. Her photos showed an impossibly beautiful woman with silver hair and eyes that seemed to shift color in the light. Her bio simply read, "New to this planet, looking for someone who appreciates diversity." Jackson chuckled at what he assumed was clever humor and swiped right without thinking much about it. The match notification came instantly, followed by a message. "Your genetic profile is intriguing. Would you like to meet somewhere neutral?" 3 hours later, Jackson found himself sitting across from Emma at an all-night diner, struggling to process what he was seeing. Up close, her otherworldly beauty was even more apparent. Her skin had an almost luminescent quality, and when she smiled, he caught glimpses of teeth that were just a little too perfect, too sharp. "You're not from around here, are you?" Jackson asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Emma's laugh was like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "Is it that obvious?" "The way you asked the waitress what coffee was gave it away," Jackson replied. "Also, you're literally glowing." Emma's expression grew serious. "I should explain. My name is Emma. Well, the closest human approximation. I'm from what you would call the Kepler system. My people have been observing Earth for decades, studying your species." Jackson nearly choked on his coffee. "Studying us? For what?" "Initially for conquest," Emma said matter-of-factly. "But the more we learned about humans, the more impressed we became. Your species does something remarkable. You adapt, you overcome, you never surrender even when logically you should. We call it the human factor." She leaned forward, her eyes now a brilliant amber. "My father leads the advanced reconnaissance team. He's convinced that humans are too dangerous to leave unchecked, but also too valuable to destroy. He wants to find a way to incorporate your traits into our people. And you?" Jackson asked, though part of him already knew the answer. "I think he's right about humans being remarkable," Emma said softly, "but wrong about the solution. I've been on Earth for 6 months living among your people. I've seen acts of kindness that would be considered weakness on my world, yet somehow make your species stronger. I've watched humans sacrifice everything for complete strangers. I've seen you turn certain defeat into impossible victory through sheer stubborn refusal to quit." Jackson felt a strange mix of pride and terror. "So when you matched with me—" "I was looking for someone who embodied those human qualities," Emma admitted. "Your profile showed you volunteer at animal shelters, you've run marathons for charity, and your job is helping veterans readjust to civilian life. You're exactly the kind of human that proves my point." Over the next few weeks, Jackson found himself drawn into Emma's world, literally. She showed him technology that seemed like magic, shared stories of civilizations spanning dozens of star systems, and gradually revealed the truth about her people's plans for Earth. The Zephyrians, as they called themselves, were a highly advanced but stagnating species. They had conquered dozens of worlds through superior technology and tactical thinking. But they had lost something vital in the process: the ability to hope against impossible odds, to fight when victory seemed impossible, to find strength in diversity rather than uniformity. "We've become too efficient," Emma explained one evening as they walked along Lake Michigan. "We calculate outcomes and accept defeat when the numbers say we should. But humans look at impossible odds and ask, how can we make this work?" That's when she told him about her father's ultimatum: prove that humans could be valuable allies, or the invasion fleet would arrive within the year. "I need you to meet him," Emma said. "Show him what I've been trying to explain." The journey to the Zephyrian forward base took place in what Emma called a reality phase ship, a vessel that existed partially outside normal space-time. Jackson spent most of the trip trying not to vomit from dimensional displacement sickness. The base itself was a marvel of crystalline architecture, hovering in Earth's upper atmosphere, invisible to human detection. Emma's father, Commander Thex, was waiting for them in what appeared to be a throne room made of living light. He was tall, imposing, with the same luminescent skin as Emma, but eyes like frozen stars. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of authority accumulated over centuries. "So," Commander Thex said, studying Jackson with obvious disdain, "you're the upgrade my daughter believes your species represents." Jackson felt every instinct telling him to be humble, to defer to this obviously superior being. Instead, he thought about Emma's words about human stubbornness and straightened his shoulders. "With respect, sir," Jackson said, "I'm not an upgrade to anything. I'm just human. And if that's not enough for you, then maybe you're not as advanced as you think you are." The silence stretched for what felt like an eternity. Commander Thex's expression was unreadable. Then unexpectedly, the alien commander began to laugh, a sound like distant thunder. "Emma," he said, still chuckling, "I believe you may be correct about these humans. This one just insulted a being who could end his existence with a thought, simply because he refused to be diminished." He turned back to Jackson. "Tell me, human, what makes your species worth preserving?" Jackson thought about everything Emma had shown him, all the stories she'd shared about human resilience. "We don't give up," he said simply. "Ever. We find a way or we make one. We turn our greatest weaknesses into strengths. And we never ever fight alone, we lift each other up." Commander Thex nodded slowly. "Perhaps there is wisdom in alliance rather than conquest. Your people have something we've forgotten, the ability to find hope in hopeless situations." As Jackson watched the alien leader's expression soften, he realized he'd just helped prevent an interplanetary war by doing the most human thing possible, refusing to back down when it mattered most. Emma squeezed his hand, her eyes now a warm golden color. "Welcome to the family," she whispered. Jackson grinned. "Does this mean I get to keep the dating app?"